Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into what is, without a doubt, one of the most dramatic, high-stakes decisions in modern international football. We're breaking down the absolutely jaw-dropping squad selection Thomas Tuchel has just made ahead of the 2026 World Cup. The debate is raging, the battle lines are drawn, and we're going to look at exactly how we got here.
Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine for a second being one of the absolute best players in the Premier League this entire season. You're putting up incredible numbers week in and week out, and you still don't make England's World Cup squad. I mean, it sounds literally impossible, right? But that is exactly the mind-bending reality we're analyzing today.
Now, behind the scenes, the sheer scale of the talent pool is just staggering. To give you an idea, Thomas Tuchel personally made around 50 phone calls to inform players of their fate. 50! That number alone illustrates just how massive the conversation was, and how many top-tier, elite guys were fighting tooth and nail for a seat on the plane.
But it's the calls that ended in disappointment that have completely shaken the footballing world. I mean, we're talking about Phil Foden, one of Manchester City's most creative forces. Cole Palmer, arguably Chelsea's best player this season. Trent Alexander-Arnold from Real Madrid, one of the most technically gifted fullbacks alive. And that's not to mention tournament veterans with massive experience, guys like Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw.
I really want you to just pause and think about that for a second. We are talking about leaving some of England's most creative, dynamic, and technically gifted players at home. For almost any other nation on earth, these guys aren't just in the squad. They are the absolute first names written on the starting lineup, no questions asked.
So, the crucial point is, why did he do it? Well, Tuchel has actually been incredibly transparent about his reasoning from day one. He said, and I quote, "We were looking to build the best possible team, not collect the 26 most talented players. Teams win championships."
This brings us to a concept we can call system over stars. It's this tactical philosophy that prioritizes strict positional fits and collective chemistry way above individual brilliance. You see, Tuchel isn't trying to build some all-star exhibition squad for a charity match. He's modeling his approach entirely on those grueling championship-winning tournament teams that operate seamlessly as a single unit.
Let's break down exactly what that looks like on the pitch. Tuchel's blueprint requires, first off, clearly defined roles. He wants a dedicated number 6, a traditional number 8, and a classic number 10 in midfield. Secondly, he wants exactly 2 players for every single position to maintain perfect balance. And third, collective chemistry overrules absolutely everything else. When you view it through the specific lens, it's actually a highly calculated, totally defensible coaching strategy.
But, a calculated strategy doesn't make you immune to criticism. And the backlash has been immediate and incredibly severe. Just look at this quote from Kyle Walker on talkSPORT. He called the omission of Trent Alexander-Arnold straight up crazy. It is incredibly rare, almost unprecedented really, for a current, active national team player to publicly criticize his own manager's decision right before a major tournament.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where the public stands on the matter. Fans immediately took to social media, making the hashtag #TrentIn trend worldwide. The outrage over leaving behind a player who's capable of these insane defense-splitting passes from the backline, it sparked fierce debates in pubs, group chats, and broadcast studios across the globe.
And it's not just current players and fans either. Legendary former players, the ones who truly know the intense pressure of wearing that national shirt, well, they're divided too. Wayne Rooney weighed in, simply calling the squad selections strange. When icons of the game are questioning your blueprint, the immense pressure on the manager multiplies exponentially.
Speaking of pressure, we have to look at the historical context here. 1966. That is the last time England won a men's World Cup. Every single tournament since then carries enormous, suffocating expectations. Every manager who makes a controversial call shoulders the weight of decades of heartbreak, and Tuchel has placed himself squarely under that massive, glaring microscope.
Which leads us to an incredibly high-stakes scenario. If England crash out in the group stage, or even the first knockout round, will these omissions be the story everyone points to? Consider the totally devastating consequences for Tuchel's legacy if this massive gamble fails to pay off. It would be an absolute media storm that he might not survive.
To truly understand both sides, we need to strip away the emotion and look at the facts neutrally. Let's set up a direct comparison between the case for Tuchel's strict system requirements and the case against him, which, as we know, hinges entirely on the staggering individual metrics of the players he left behind.
Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is how incredibly compelling both sides actually are. The case for Tuchel points out that Palmer, well, he actually had an inconsistent second half of the season. Foden's form was openly questioned by Tuchel himself in the press, and Trent has had documented defensive struggles at Real Madrid. But the case against? You're wasting world-class depth. Palmer had massive Premier League goal contributions this year, and Trent is widely considered a generational passing talent.
However, history does provide a shining example for Tuchel's exact method. Consider the 2014 World Cup winners, Germany. They won the tournament utilizing this exact team-first philosophy over individual stars. They prioritized functional parts fitting into a cohesive machine over just, putting the 11 most famous names on the pitch. If Tuchel replicates that success, these omissions could go down in history as pure, unrecognized genius.
But what if they don't lift the trophy? Let the reality of that sink in for a moment. Imagine having the most envied attacking depth in world football right at your fingertips, keeping them at home, and then losing. The narrative will instantly shift from tactical genius to a criminal waste of a golden generation. Because of these decisions, the pressure doesn't just sit on Tuchel's shoulders anymore. It shifts entirely to the players who actually made the squad. Guys like Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, and the rest of the chosen 26 now carry an unprecedented level of responsibility. They know the omitted stars are watching, and they know the what-ifs are looming large over every single pass they make.
Let's move on and see how this builds against the ticking clock. We had the shock squad announcement in May. We are now in early June for final preparations, and the World Cup kicks off on June 11, 2026. This really shows the sheer lack of time Tuchel has to tinker, adjust, or change his mind.
Make no mistake about the reality here. The tournament is imminent. The window for debate is rapidly closing, and the time for execution is well and truly here. This highly controversial squad is locked in. There's no turning back now. No late additions to save the day if the system isn't clicking perfectly in training.
Which leaves us right on the precipice of the biggest sporting event on the planet. We've seen the logic, we've seen the outrage, and we've explored the historical parallels. So, I leave it to you. Are you backing Tuchel's brilliantly bold tactical call, or do you think he has just made the biggest mistake of his entire career? Keep a close eye on this tournament, because the definitive answer is about to play out on the world stage.